You know the best part about getting a win on Sunday is when you wake up and it's Victory Monday. And if you're still pumped up about the Saints win over the Giants, hit the thumbs up icon and let's celebrate Victory Monday with an Overreaction Monday video. You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Really quick, just got to talk about how fun yesterday was. I've had some time to sleep, had some time to kind of live in the moment. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm still feeling really good about this win. You can hear it in my voice. I was screaming, I was hooting and hollering. I got to see Spencer Rattler absolutely dominate. I got to see Kool-Aid McKinstry get multiple interceptions. The defense finally showed up, and we got to see a great game. And Kellen Moore and Spencer Rattler get their first wins in their NFL careers. So let's get started with Overreaction Monday on the topic of Spencer Rattler. Overreaction, he saved his job. He's going to be the starter forever and ever and ever. Overreaction. But I do think that he did buy himself at least some time. Because in my personal opinion, there was a discussion to be had around this game for Spencer Rattler. It felt like week 5 was a must-win game in my personal opinion. And I know that that may sound ridiculous, but when you consider all of the elements of Spencer Rattler and his time in New Orleans, you do have to wonder, is Tyler Shough at some point going to get some reps as the starter? And if the Saints didn't win this game, you have a lot of tough games leading up to the bye that if you don't win any of those, there really should be a conversation about giving Shough the potential starts afterwards. Now, I will say, maybe there was a conversation to get him to the bye. I think this win at least definitely gives him the starting role until the bye week. And even if he wins a couple more, I think he's going to be the starter for the entire season. At this point, you should not take Spencer Rattler off the field. He is the hot hand. He is playing good football, and he's utilizing not just his arm, but his legs. You're really starting to see him open up as a quarterback. And I really was impressed with the fact that a defensive line that has Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, 0 sacks. You have seen him play cleaner football. So I think when it comes to the conversation of when should Shough start, I think we just need to put a pause on it. Because this game, in my opinion, bought Spencer Rattler at least a little bit more time and proves that he can be a winner. And I think that this buys him time as a starter. I think this buys him time in New Orleans. And I think that this is a player that we as Saints fans should be getting excited and buying some stock into because he is starting to put the things together. And, of course, you have to consider, oh, he was 0-10, and now he finally gets his first win, blah, 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 blah. Look, at the end of the day, the offense gained confidence. Rattler gained confidence. He got the weight off of his shoulders of trying to just get that first win. So you can take that momentum, you can take that energy, and you can turn one win into stacked wins. And, of course, you have a tough matchup next week against the Patriots. You have the Bears. You have the Rams. You have a lot of teams left that you still have to play. Some are going to be really, really tough. Later in the season, it's going to get much easier. But I think for right now, you can look at this as an opportunity to build more confidence and really open up this offense because I think that this team really has started to find its identity. They're a really good rushing attack led by Kendre Miller with Alvin Kamara in the mix. Spencer Rattler starting to push the ball downfield a little bit more. You're starting to see Chris Olave be a little bit more consistent. Rashid Shaheed finally got the deep shot that we've been all waiting for. And I think when it comes to this team, you're starting to see it all mesh together. We've said this from the beginning. This is going to be a bad team, but they're going to be a fun bad team. And I still believe that to be true. And I want to tell you, we're going to talk more about this team later on. Today, we're going to be live here on Saints Now by Chat Sports around 3 p.m. Central Time. So be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. We are going to be discussing a lot of awesome topics, including a potential injury update for Justin Reid. He did leave yesterday's game with a concussion. So be sure to subscribe to get that news and get that information. I'm not necessarily sure when that will come out, but as soon as it's made available, we will give you guys the updates. So make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications, and join us live later on for a really fun Victory Monday live show. Now let's talk about overreaction number 2. Is it time to trade Alvin Kamara? Again, it's overreactions. I'm not saying to trade over Alvin Kamara. It's an overreaction for a reason. I will say, though, there is a really interesting trend that I've noticed with Kendre Miller. And this is less to do with, oh, Alvin Kamara isn't helping out, Alvin Kamara isn't doing this, Alvin Kamara isn't doing that. It's more of we're starting to see the emergence of the youth on this team, not just defensively, but offensively as well. Kendre Miller, it felt like in week 5, that was his takeover game. It really starts to seem like he's getting more and more and more opportunities. And in this past week against the Giants, Kendre Miller had more carries and more yards than Alvin Kamara. And again, I'm not knocking Alvin Kamara by any means, but you're starting to see him get utilized each and every week a little bit more. And if you don't believe me, well, I got the stats to prove it. Now, the snap count each week has increased. Maybe not numerically, but percentage-wise, you've seen his usage go up every single week. Week 1, he started out 14.7% of snaps offensively played. And in week 5, 39.4% of snaps played. And of course, he is a contributor as a kick returner as well. But when you look at the increasing snap count and you take a look at the production, you can see that whenever he gets the opportunities to get more runs, he does put up good numbers. And of course, week 2 against the 49ers, that was a little bit frustrating. 5 carries, 8 yards. But I don't think the numbers and the box score truly does Kendre Miller justice. He is the definition of you got to give him the eye test. I mean, every single carry he gets, he's getting an extra couple of yards. And if you think he's going to get tackled in the backfield, guess what? He's at least going to get back to the line of scrimmage. And if you're getting close to a first down conversion, he's going to fight for those extra couple of yards. And so with Kendre Miller, I think that he's a player who's really starting to take leadership of the rushing attack for the offense. And I think that his role is going to continue to increase and evolve. And why are we talking about trading Alvin Kamara? Well, there was a report that went out just a few days ago from Nick Underhill. Teams are interested in some of the Saints veteran players. They'll be watching to see who becomes available in the coming weeks. Of course, we do know that the trade deadline is coming up. New Orleans will be open to hearing offers in the coming weeks. And this is part of being a rebuilding team. You're going to lose games. You're going to have to lose veterans. You have to trade away fan favorites because you got to recoup draft capital and build the roster from the youth in the draft and really take the next steps to get back to being a competitive football team, not just a mediocre team. And I'm not saying that Alvin Kamara makes this team mediocre. I'm not saying Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, any of those guys, they don't make this team a mediocre team. I actually really value the veteran presence that's currently in the locker room. But I will say when it comes to Alvin Kamara, I seriously doubt he would want to leave. Like, I think when it comes to Kamara, Demario, Cam Jordan, any of those veterans that have been around that deserve to have the opportunity to retire here, or deserve the opportunity to go compete for a Super Bowl, I think that should be up to them. But when it comes to players like Pete Werner, maybe even Chris Olave, I'm not going to say I want to do it, but like I would much rather trade away younger players like a Pete Werner or a Chris Olave or maybe a Rashid Shaheed or maybe, one of these other dudes in order to try to get better draft capital in return. Then I don't think you're going to get as much return for Alvin Kamara, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan. We're fan favorites, but I don't think realistically NFL GMs are going to provide premium draft capital. So I will say, I doubt that New Orleans will trade Alvin Kamara. We all know for a fact he doesn't want to leave, but teams will desire his services. He is a very good running back. He is a very good weapon for any offense. And if you're competing for a Super Bowl and you need that one X factor and you're missing that guy, like the Kansas City Chiefs, the Arizona Cardinals, prime example of two teams that could be really interested in him, I could see the Saints getting some calls. And if it does come down to trading Alvin Kamara, it would need to be an offer that you could not refuse. It would have to be overpaying for him. And that's because I really do believe in him and I really value him and I really like having him around on the roster. He's a very good football player and he's somebody that provides veteran leadership. He provides good energy. He provides the ability to create the culture and to show the young guys what it's like to succeed. He's seen the Saints succeed. And I think that keeping him around would make sense. But when it comes to Demario, Cam, Alvin, any of these veterans, they should get the opportunity to pick whether or not they get traded. I think that most of them would choose to stay. And for that reason, I really value those veterans for wanting to stay around and help build the culture and help build this thing for the future because that's where we're headed. Now, what would you do with Alvin Kamara? There's an obvious conversation to be had about it. Type trade, type keep. Get down in the comment section, share your thoughts, and let me know. Now, really quick, we're going to get back to Overreaction Monday in just 1 second. But, fellas, I got to tell you about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Chubbies shorts. I absolutely love Chubbies shorts, and I've been rocking their gear since I was back in high school. And to tell you the truth, having them sponsor my show as a grown man is a really, really big dream come true. And it's no mystery. The leaves are turning. temperatures are dropping and the weekend air is getting that nice autumn crisp. Fellas, I know your lady's going to be dragging you to pumpkin patches and fall photo shoots, but that doesn't mean that you have to pack away the fun. Chubbies is here to make sure that you look good and feel great with their soft, stretchy fall staples built for maximum comfort and minimal effort. And I know your fall wardrobe needs an update, and you know me, Trizzy's always got the hookup, so head over to chubbyshorts.com/chatsports right now to get 20% off your order for a limited time. Yep, that's 20% off. Really, really nice savings right there. There's a new comfort collection featuring the Everywhere Jogger. It's the perfect pant for impromptu naps, weekend errands, and everything in between. Maddie and I are going to be going on all sorts of fun dates and adventures this fall, and I'm definitely going to be rocking my new Everywhere Joggers, everywhere. So whether you're layering up for tailgates, lounging through lazy Sundays, or just leaning into full fall comfort, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with code CHATSPORTS at chubbyshorts.com, or just go to chubbyshorts.com/CHATSPORTS, and you can get those savings right there. Code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS at chubbyshorts.com/chatsports. Support the show and show your thighs some respect with Chubbies. All that information is available in the comments and description of this video. Now let's talk about Kool-Aid McKinstry, because he was a huge player that needed a breakout, and he finally did. And I don't think that's much of an overreaction, but let's have the conversation, because, we do have to say it's been a little bit underwhelming leading up to this game, but he finally did it. He finally broke out, and after an underwhelming start, Kool-Aid McKinstry's finally taking over. Yesterday, he proved why the New Orleans Saints traded up in the second round to go get him last year in the NFL draft. He is a player that has honestly been really heavily reported throughout the training camp, throughout the summer, that he was doing really, really well. He was taking those leaps, and you hadn't seen a ton of that on the field on game days, but yesterday you did. And I have to say, I'm really, really excited and really proud of Kool-Aid McKinstry for taking that step, because I think that he is a guy who could definitely build off of this performance. And I think that he's somebody, as you see Quincy Riley start to take over with him, I think that they play really good complementary football with each other. I mean, you saw him have 3 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. This guy was playing with his lights out, and it was unbelievable. Or he was playing lights out. He was playing out of his mind. He was playing lights out. One of the interceptions, I want to just kind of talk about it real quick. He was all the way over here on this side of the field. And then he is kind of following his receiver, backtracks, goes all the way across, and then breaks away once the ball gets in the air and just goes and picks it off on the opposite side of the hashes. Like, the dude ran so far and made a huge play. And he made an awesome read. And I got to give him a ton of credit for it, because I am so happy that he finally did it. It felt like this was Kool-Aid McKinstry's welcome to the league game. It felt like this was the game that he broke out. It felt like this was his, I'm here. I'm emerged. I'm ready to go. It's time to lock in. It's time to strap up, because Kool-Aid McKinstry is finally here. I'm so excited to see Kool-Aid McKinstry play more football, but I do think he needs to build off of this performance. And I think that this is a good game to build that momentum and create that confidence, because he's a player who has a lot of upside, and he's a player who just hasn't really been unlocked. And I'm so happy that it finally happened. It's not an overreaction to say that he finally broke out, but we do need to say it will truly not be an overreaction, or it will become an overreaction if he doesn't build off of this performance. You have a tough matchup next week against the New England Patriots. They looked awesome against the Bills last night on Sunday Night Football. So Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quincy Riley, they're going to have their hands full in that passing attack with Drake May and just Stephon Diggs, who had an unbelievable game against the Bills, revenge game, obviously. But, it is what it is. So I think when it comes to Kool-Aid McKinstry, build off of this performance, keep playing good football, have that confidence, have that swagger, and go out there and ball out. Because now you know you can, and now you prove to the world that you will. Now, I will also say, massive overreaction. The New Orleans Saints are back. We're winning the NFC South. We're going to the Super Bowl. 13-4. No. No, we're not. We're not doing that. Not anytime soon, at least. I will say, when it comes to saying, are the Saints back, it's a conversation, because no, they're not back. It was one game against a bad football team. But like I said in my late night video that we posted late last night, it wasn't the fact that you won, it's how you won. You saw Spencer Rattler get his first win. You saw Kool-Aid McKinstry breakout. You saw Kellen Moore get his first win. You saw a lot of confidence get builded. You saw the young stars really start to rise up for this team. And I think that as the season continues to progress, you're going to see more and more of that each week. This is a team that has a lot of fight. This is a team that's really scrappy. It was a really, really ugly start to this game. The Giants had back-to-back touchdowns on their 2 opening drives, and it was looking all doom and gloom at the very start of yesterday's football game. But the New Orleans Saints busted it wide open with that 87-yard touchdown to Rashid Shaheed. They did a really, really good job of creating explosive plays, not just on offense, but on defense as well. And that's something they've been lacking throughout the season. They haven't been explosive enough. And for the black and gold, I can confidently say they are not a bottom 5 team right now. I mean, this is a team yesterday. Of course, it's the Giants. Take it with a grain of salt. But they are really emerging. They're doing the right things. They're headed in the right direction. And I know that it's frustrating that we only have 1 win, and it may be ridiculous to say that after beating the freaking Giants. But honest to God, I think there's a handful of teams you could have a conversation about that are worse. I mean, the Tennessee Titans, no doubt about it. Like, Cam Ward, I'm really, really impressed with, but he has absolutely no help. So he needs some help. Tennessee, not sure what's going on there. I do have the Ravens on this list. If they were to play a football game today, if the New Orleans Saints and the Baltimore Ravens were to go out on the field at the Superdome and play 4 quarters, I think the New Orleans Saints would win right now. I do. They're so beat up. They don't have Lamar Jackson. Their entire defense is injured. Like, no. I think that the Baltimore Ravens are not a good football team right now. They are severely injured, and they are at a massive, massive disadvantage and a massive handicap. The Dolphins are a joke. The fan base wants to fire their coach. They want to fire their GM. They want to blow it all up. I know that that's kind of where the Saints were at last year, still want to fire their GM. But look, the Dolphins are in a much, much worse position than the Saints are. The Saints, like I said, they're a fun bad team. These are not fun bad teams. Ravens, they're a fun team. Whatever. Yeah, Derrick Henry is still a good team. But anyway, these are all not good or fun good teams. Like the Jets, yikes. Bad. They are, Lopez, bad. They are really, really bad. The Giants I'm going to put on this list because we beat them. They're worse than us. And then I'd even make a case for the Raiders. Like, the Raiders, Mitchell Renz, I'm sorry, brother. The Raiders are dog shit, man. They are a terrible football team. And I actually thought that they were going to be okay this year. Like, I liked Pete Carroll coming in. I liked Geno Smith going there. I thought that Ashton Jeanty, I like it. I thought they had a fine defense. Boy, was I wrong. They are a bad, bad football team. So when it comes to the New Orleans Saints, are they back? I don't know. Probably not. But I do think that this team has done enough to prove they're going in the right direction. They're moving to the light. And I said this after week 1. I've said it after week 2. I've said it every single week. This is the team that's very reminiscent of the 2021 Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell's first year. You're not going to win a lot of football games, but you're going to be scrappy. You're going to play spoiler to a couple teams. You're going to have some really fun moments. This is a team that is very reminiscent of that. I think Kellen Moore is proving to be a home run hire. It was never going to be all put together in the first 4 weeks anyway. Now that we're having some time to work out the kinks, iron out the problems, and figure out where the strengths and weaknesses are and how to play into those strengths and weaknesses, I think you're really starting to see this team take shape. And I think the future is so, so bright for the New Orleans Saints. So we talked about some bad teams. My bottom 5, I'll say bottom 6. Titans, Ravens, Dolphins, Jets, Giants, Raiders. Who do you think is the worst team in the National Football League right now? Appreciate you guys for rocking and rolling with us in today's video. We will be live later on at 3 p.m. Central Time, so make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you so much for tuning into Overreaction Monday. For Loco Lopez, for me, y'all stay golden, and we'll see you at the live show.